Hey guys, this is another fail on Paul Blart's garage. I did a video yesterday where I was replacing the detent cable, which here's the one that fits my truck. It's the 88 GMC Sierra. It's got a 350 Vortec engine in it with 700R4 tranny, and as I explained in the previous videos, the owner that had it before me said it was a 350 turbo. I imagine he just probably took it from the owner he bought it from, because the guy I bought it from only actually owned it for a few months before he cracked the heads in it, overheating it. One of the hoses on the bottom, which is aggravating on these models, you can see from that, and how the hose is fitted down there on the bottom down there, which is aggravating as crap to get to. But anyway, I still need to buy probably a bracket or something for my detent cable. It doesn't quite, as you can see, it's kind of at an angle there. It needs to be straight. I'm going to have a bracket or something. Buy one that moves it over a couple of inches. But anyway, it seems to be working okay. So the transmission's shifting out pretty hard, but I'm still having the problem with third gear revving up real hard before it shifts. So I'm going to have to work on that. But went for a drive yesterday, and as you can see, there's stuff and things missing here. It seems that when I took it for a ride, there was a big pop under the hood, and it seems this part on the water pump popped off, sending my clutch fan and everything else. This came off with it. This was actually setting inside here, and which is right here. It was somehow it came off. I don't know how it came off. I don't know if those were pressed on or what, but it was sitting in there, and it you see my lower fan sprout, it just demolished it and bent the fan blades up and burned the belt and all that good stuff. But what was going to be just a detent cable problem has turned into replacing a water pump problem, which is probably a good time to clean the front of the engine up and maybe paint some areas there with some fresh paint and make it look better, and paint the water pump. But yeah, this is what I'm going to be doing, is replacing this now. It just seems like I fix one thing, or begin to fix one thing, and something else breaks. You know, I've got me a table laid out here. I got a bunch of tables over there as I do a lot of work on vehicles and my own stuff, and so I will be putting that water pump on. But I got broke down on the side of the road. The bad story about it was I got broke down, number one, and the passerby came by and I paid him money to drive me home, which I was only a mile away from where I broke down. And so I came back home. We got the car and went to O'Reilly's, and I bought this water pump, and I thought, well, worst case scenario, put the water pump on it and put this pulley back on it without the clutch fan and all, put the belt back on it and water in the radiator and drive it home, because I wouldn't be far and it wouldn't overheat by the time I got home. Even without the clutch fan and stuff, I'd made it home. So I rushed to O'Reilly's with my car sitting in the roadway with the flashers on. It was off the main roadway, but in a neighborhood, you know, where they'll say that, you know, they'll call the county and get you towed. And all the shops around here, they'll immediately run a title search on the vehicle to see if it's paid for, and then they'll charge you like at $320 to $350 the next day for them coming and towing it, in hopes that you won't get it or can't afford to get it, and they'll charge you $20 a day storage, hoping to keep your vehicle. I had this incident with a Dodge Dakota. I think it was a 2001 or 2 regular cab Dodge Dakota RT truck. Had a built 360 with all complete bolt-ons, and in one day the guy was charging me $320 for, he said it was for overnight haul or some kind of bullcrap story he made up. And he already had told me that he knew that the truck was paid for, and knew every bolt on I had on it and what he'd do to it if it's his truck, and he had every intentions in the world of trying to keep the truck. So my son broke down, and before we could get to it, the city officer came through and said it was a road hazard and had it towed, even though it was off the roadway. But anyway, if you're ever in Foley, Alabama, and you break down on the side of the road, you better do everything you can to guard your vehicle, because if a mechanic or one of these tow companies around here think that they can make money on your car and do a mechanic's lien, they'll do it. But anyway, back to the story. Went and got this water pump at O'Reilly's and rushed back to where my truck was, popped the box open and was getting ready to put the water pump on just to get it home, because my son had my truck, and he has a construction business, and he was using my truck to haul scaffold material. And but I got there and there's no gaskets in the box, so that means I couldn't put it on. There's no way that, probably just poured all the water out, and it could have overheated them heads, and they're Vortec 350 heads, and they're bad about cracking. I've actually got one of the two sets of heads over here, this corner, which you probably can't see it, but well, you can't see it, it's too dark. But anyway, I can show you where they commonly crack. Just got to pay attention when you're buying these Vortec heads. Make sure you clean them up real good and clean the gasket off of them and clean them up real good. I mean, real good, because one little hairline crack can be the difference between you having a set of heads you can use and a set of heads that are, yard art or something, paperweights. But anyway, ended up getting my son was there when I got, there within a few minutes after I realized I couldn't use the water pump because there's no gasket. And towed me home with a rope, which, I kind of don't like doing that. But anyway, went back to the store and kind of blessed them out about, not having the gaskets, because I told them I was stranded and I was in a hurry. And a lot of these parts stores you go to, whenever somebody returns something, they don't look to see if all the bolts, gaskets, and all that stuff in there. And there's actually a hole in the bag where whoever had it before, because it doesn't look like it's been installed, but it looks like maybe they took the gaskets and used it for something else. I don't know. The gaskets weren't in there, and the bag was actually open. But that's something to be wary of. But that was my project yesterday, and this is my project today, and I still don't have the transmission detent cable adjusted outright. I'm hoping that's what it is. So it's one thing after another on these project trucks. It's definitely a labor of love, and but I'm just going to put the truck back together, minus the clutch fan and the clutch, and just go with electric. O'Reilly's has an electric fan kit that covers about 70% of the radiator, and I'm just going to mount it here and run a toggle switch into the truck, and just turn it on when I'm driving the truck. I may even put a thermostat on it later, but I got to pull all the fan shroud and stuff out down there. But anyway, this is just a setback after setback on this thing. So what turned out to be a Project 500 truck, which is what I called this when I first bought it. It's kind of I guess you could say a barnyard find. It was in a guy's field. Has turned into like a money pit. But I mean, by the time I'm done, everything on this thing that applies to having on the road should be replaced. But anyway, hope y'all are having a good weekend. This is Saturday. It's pouring down rain outside, but I got this thing nosed in my garage, and hopefully I have this thing back together, and at least where I can pull it around up and down my block, which will be as far as I can go, or will go. But anyway, y'all have a good weekend, and I'll talk to you folks later.